Intro. Today I'll be giving an update on Frogan, as I talked about it in a video going over the H3 lawsuit, and I think the situation's pretty interesting, and her response to it all has kind of shown how dumb and how much of a liar she truly is. Basically, if you don't know, you can check out that H3 lawsuit video and just watch that first section, but Frogan cried on stream talking about how she wasn't making enough money from streaming, and how she basically hated streaming because of it. H3 brought up how he pays his chat moderators in response to this. Some bigger streamers do this, and Frogan is a mod for Hassan, and that's actually what kind of got her into the sphere, is, you know, being a mod for Hassan and in the Twitch chat. But it seems like he doesn't pay out, or that she just hasn't really done it, which she does say she hasn't done it in her response video. Not video, but podcast, not podcast, but stream clip, which I'll show later. Either way, after this, people came out and talked about this situation regarding Frogan, pointing out how she had over $100 nails on, and how she doesn't do a lot anyway and is even lucky to be a streamer. Considering how bad her content is, like how she's lucky to have hundreds of, you know, subs and stuff like that. I was way more sympathetic in my sections talking about her, that she would be way happier going back home and actually getting the job that she used to have, which for whatever reason she hates the idea of. Her original job was being a public health scientist that gets paid around $100K a year, basically to study, I think, diseases that are being spread around, and, like, you know, how to deal with them and stuff like that. Like, it was actually a cool job, and she has like a whole degree and everything. But for whatever reason, like a lot of people, she's so addicted to staying on stream or whatever, despite, you know, not really even streaming that many hours. And I get more into this later. But either way, she ends up, of course, making this worse for herself after the fact. She was offered to go on Caleb Hamer's Finanical Audit, a show where, you know, they help with finances and see what they could do to fix her situation, and even offer additional help, such as, like, just an example, they have like a resume expert. They have some other financial experts that are after the show. Caleb just sits there and tells you, like, you shouldn't be spending on this and this, and gives you some other, like, smaller piece of advice. And then there's professionals afterwards, and long time, or I think permanent time, help afterwards. She denies, like, going on there, and we get more into that into this video. If you like videos like these, make sure to like and subscribe, as I make videos on internet dramas, locals, creeps, and more. There are a few ongoing series in the playlist section of my channel going over these people types. Make sure to also use YouTube's mobile only hype feature on this video, as well as watch the video all the way through to help me out the most. Make sure to follow my Twitter, is linked in the description. And with all that said, Caleb Hamer versus Frogan. Like I said in my last video, they were going back and forth. There was some updates to this, though, as charity has now gone involved. Asmongold offered $10,000 to a charity of Frogan's choosing if she went onto Finanical Audit, and $5,000 to her personally. Caleb Hamer said that he would match either the $10,000 for charity or the $5,000 personal.
I mean, there's no way she's good with her finances, so I don't think she could accept that deal. Mr. Gold, if you hear this, let's just make it $10 for her to come on the show, and I'll match that $10,000 to come on the show to charity of her choice, and I'll match that. And then anyone else that wants to contribute to the pile, feel free. What's next in the Frogan lore?
You don't know what you did. He just goes on there and calls her broke and makes her cry. He's like, what's wrong?
She should move.
Which I will do.
Oh.
Happily.
The breakdown is going to be great.
She's not going to come on.
No.
There's no way. 20,000 hours to the charity of your choice. Sounds pretty awesome.
It does. I don't think she gives a fuck, though.
No, she doesn't. She's performative.
Charity-wise.
People
if this was 20,000 personally, I think she'd consider it.
Sure.
But I don't.
People like this that are performative activists,
yeah,
they don't actually. They just want to sit there and milk and feel good and get their support based on what they advocate for. It's so stupid. Okay, well, I'll amend my offer. Asmon can do whatever he wants with his 10. I'll match that donation, 10,000, to a charity of your choice, or you can choose, and it has to be publicly disclosed, or 5,000 hours cash to you.
Whoa.
Okay.
So you choose 10,000 to charity or 5,000 to you. Let's find out.
See where her
Again, we will be respectful. Come on.
He adds on from this clip on Twitter saying, Frogan, $20,000 currently to come on Financial Audit. Legit, my team and I will respect you. What you wish to talk about and not talk about, I want to set you up for financial success. Let's do this thing. If you have criticism over this, like some people did, he actually responds to someone saying, this one person said, I think it's super weird to have a bunch of out of touch wealthy dudes bullying a woman online for her financial status in a time where most people are struggling financially. Gross. And I so much hate the word gross. I like to use it, but like people like iDubbbz, specifically iDubbbz, have ruined the word gross because he uses it, and whenever he uses it, it just sounds nasty. I gotta figure out other words. I can't even say nasty really because I think of him. I need more unique words. Either way, he responds saying, I've been wealthy for 2 years out of my 30. My average financial audit guest pays off nearly $20,000 of debt in 12 months. I'll respect any of Frogan's boundaries and wishes. So go away with that quote bullying. I'll actually set her up with tools and a chance of financial success genuinely. And Caleb Hammer has only recently been successful. He talked about a bunch of times where he lost money and stuff like that, like how he had his own struggles and came from that and then done the financial audit show. And he's not really out of touch because how could you be out of touch but give such great advice and help people? I don't think that's really the case. And, they try to make it also like a gender thing as well, saying wealthy dudes bullying a woman. And I mean, I feel like I have so much sympathy for her in a way. And it's kind of weird because I usually don't. And it might go away during this video as the video goes on. But, I just want people to do better, and this is one of the ways that she could do better and actually help herself out. And also, I'll get more into it later, there was this could help her out in so many ways. But Frogan ends up responding to Caleb Hammer in a super lengthy Twitter post saying this. I don't need a YouTube financial advisor to try to degrade me for content. Let me clear a few things up. I wasn't crying to my audience for money. I had a normal reaction to what a friend said when they called in. People sit in my chat and screen record the entire thing. Clipping is turned off on my channel solely to hate watch and post clips out of context, and I'm allowed to have feelings about my own life with the community I built. I mean, you were just told to quit begging and you started crying because of that. And I mean, I get it because it was, it was true, it really hurts you and you are struggling. But still, also turning off clipping means that she probably has a lot more fake viewers, like people that are just sitting there to clip or screen record the entire thing. I don't know if she has VODs on or not, but if she has VODs on, then you could have people come back later. But that's probably not the case either, so people are forced to sit there and watch the full thing, and I get more into that later. Next, she says, I have loved streaming for years and wouldn't be doing it if there weren't so many positives. What are those positives? Genuinely, what are those positives, especially to you, that someone that's struggling? Not even trying to make fun of you, but I genuinely don't know the positives because I went over it in my last video. There doesn't seem to be many at all. You would be way more happier and there'd be way more positives doing your actual job you got a degree for. But she goes on saying, but after being harassed, targeted, and dogpiled across every space of the internet for over 2 years now, I think my attitude towards streaming should be expected. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it is my primary source of income, and I have to show up regardless of how I feel. Now, it doesn't have to be your primary source. You're forcing it to be, despite struggling and not really enjoying it anymore. And like I said, of course, she should go back to that old job. She should go back to, her home state, which I think was Michigan. And, she talks about how she's been harassed and stuff and plays victim, but doesn't really talk about it. And whenever she does talk about why she got the treatment she has, saying veterans deserve PTSD, she just kind of disregards it. She doesn't really have much sympathy or much regret of that at all. She just talks about it or does it for a quick second. But anyway, she says, I make no ad revenue anymore and haven't for over a year because Twitch took it away when I was wrongfully banned. Why were you wrongfully banned? What? Are you sure? Are you sure that was wrongfully banned? If you're talking about the PTSD clip, it should have been permanent, which we'll get more into later. It was a huge part of my income, and now I solely rely on subscribers in terms of Twitch, which is more unpredictable. I am actively working on diversifying my content across different platforms and shifting my talents to behind-the-scenes production work for other content creators, so I have my revenue streams. The problem is with Frogan is that she's not really interesting, and we talk more about her production work later, but I don't really see how, how she could be a good producer, especially of streams. I just feel like streamers don't need producers. And I feel like this is like a very big word for something so small, like, oh, so you're just changing the scenes on the streams. Oh, you're just moderating the chat. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's really as big as she wants to bring it up to be. But yeah, of course, like, I think I talked about it in my last video. I'll talk about it more later, like diversifying her revenue streams. But either way, you shouldn't be like relying on such an unpredictable income, especially whenever you're not that big of a Twitch streamer or like internet person anyway, because it is unpredictable and it is too much of a gamble. And maybe you're a bad incident or two. I don't know her financials. I don't know how much is in her savings, but she might be like a bad incident or two away from just, you know, being like forced to work immediately. I don't know. Next, she says, if I am suddenly not getting the subscribers I have been getting for years on top of no ad revenue, I'm obviously going to struggle. The platform has also been seeing a steady decline of spending, and many other long-term full-time streamers are feeling it as well, especially in the last few months. I'm not struggling due to poor budgeting or frivolous spending. That is debatable, and you can't really prove that unless you show your financials, like on Finanical Audit. Money is tight in a lot of industries right now. And I mean, if it is for you, then sure, you can say that. And she does kind of admit it, but I feel like pride and ego, especially people in the Hassan Orbiter section, kind of struggle to really talk about it and open up about it. So no, I will not be coming onto your show. I have seen your content and it doesn't align with what I'm experiencing. As fellow content creator, I hope you understand the complexities of this career path and how it can affect someone's financial situation and how it has no place to be discussed on your show. But please don't stop yourself from donating to charity on my behalf. Heart sparkling emoji. She says it doesn't align with what I'm experiencing. I talk about this as well, where I'm like, well, it probably is, because a lot of people have that same mindset, but come onto the show anyway. And yeah, the complexities of doing YouTube or streaming are huge, but there's still smarter ways to go throughout doing this type of career. And there's another part that I'll bring up that she said in just a moment. But let's first talk about Asmongold's response to this, saying the only wrongful thing about your ban was that it wasn't permanent. Frogan once told Ludwig, who was going to donate 10K to Palestinian relief, to keep his money and then called him a cracker. Also, let's not forget this classic, and then shows the PTSD clip. You are calling a white person a cracker, and she plays the ethnic card, and you'll see her play it more later, and I'll bring it up. But she doesn't really claim white. Yeah, it is kind of weird for her to be like, keep your money. You know, I don't know. Even if they don't exactly agree with it, you know what I mean? Like, you're like sending a like donation to me to say a hate comment. Like, oh, well, sure, I don't care. But anyway, Frogan goes on to say, if it was a cracker, I'd take, because he didn't want to do charity for Palestine, because it would upset some of his audience when active genocide is happening. Why can't I get away from talking about this? I feel like every time I make a video on Frogan or Hassan, I have to say the words Palestine and genocide. Are you all not tired? Do you all like have anything else to talk about in your lives? Like, it's actually concerning. But anyway, as for the PTSD clip, I said even in that clip that I'm not talking about the people who regret their service or acknowledge their wrongdoings. I was talking about the people who gloat about killing Arabs, which you seemingly don't have an issue with. And does it really matter? I mean, I don't know. Like, we weren't in those wars. We don't have that exact mindset. But still, to wish something so bad on people is kind of insane. Also, these people aren't really hurting anyone outside of that. They might just give someone a dirty eye. I don't know. Either way, Asmongold said, who has cracker takes? Crackers. Everyone knows what you're trying to say. The blatant dishonesty is why everyone hates you. And that's, you know, kind of true. Caleb Hammer did respond to her long tweet. I think he also talked about it on Finanical Audit, or like his live stream for Finanical Audit, like Finanical Audit Live or Caleb Hammer Live. But he says, quote, try to degrade me. I've clearly noted that I will not talk about anything you don't want to. Saying stream income has no place on my show, yet I've had higher earning streamers on the show. And this is a big point that I was going to talk about, but first he says, I legit wish you nothing but the best, but wish that we could have a genuine chat. One, this is very true. There have been several streamers, both successful, higher earning, and stuff like that. An example would be Amaranth. A not successful or like a struggling person would be Boogie. There's also this other guy that I think is a furry. Like, it was like, oh, the first furry on Finanical Audit. I don't know if he had bad finances. I didn't really watch that much of that episode. But there are like they say like, you know, a lot of YouTubers and streamers won't talk about their income, although you can look at, you know, the sub count that is obviously sitting there, and you can do some calculations and you can see about what they make. Or if you're Frogan, you know exactly what she's making because she doesn't have ad revenue, doesn't post on YouTube. Genuine chats with each other, and you know, they really help. They really do like help people find a middle ground, be more understanding of each other, and you know, you get nicer with each other because you have that middle ground that you both can sit on for a second and talk to each other. Caleb was so right, and it's so obvious that Frogan and a lot of these other people like Hassan are very, very performative. They don't truly care about the topics they talk about, like politics and stuff like that. That's why they get so mad and hateful when they speak on stuff, because they don't really care, so why not just go to the extremes and try to overly act like you care about something. Caleb's point got proven within a moment in time, and it was actually so insane. If anything, she could have had 10K to herself and another 10K to whatever charity she wanted, and, you know, that would have been good. But instead she says no. And she could have had a charity that she's really passionate about, you know, get some money, get 20 grand. That's 20 grand not for them anymore. But it could have made a great and entertaining video as well online that gave you a bunch of assistance with your finances and gave you a wake-up call that you super badly need. Frogan is pathetic, performative, and a failure who should never be allowed on the internet again, who is just a toxic person in the space. But I really do, a part of me is like, of course, you know, like I really just hope that she changes as a person and go get that actual job and actually do something helpful in the world. But here's Papa's Guts reaction to all this, and he brings up some good points.
We are only 11 subs away
Whoa.
from 200, and we are halfway through the month, so that's kind of
great.
crazy. Do the math. Mama needs to pay rent.
Could you stop begging for rent? It's so.
Okay, then you know what? Fine. Give me. You know my Venmo. Send me that then.
She's so confident. Does she really start crying?
I'm just like, I keep watching and I'm like, oh, here she goes again, begging for rent.
Okay,
Like, I'm
some of us
tired
don't.
it.
Okay, then pay my rent then. You know my Venmo. Send me that.
Who's this guy yelling at her? This is so funny.
You know what you should do? You should move back home and start a new life.
Maybe you should get your shit together. You know, save some money, man.
We were having fun. You're the one that ruined everything.
Listen, man, I would be kind of embarrassed if what I did every day was come online and beg people for money instead of like produce content. You got these nice ass nails begging for money when you refuse to just spend 5 to 10 minutes a day on your stream to create content that you could put up on like a channel to like plug yourself. Go do something. Like you're just sitting here begging for money. Why would anybody feel bad? This is so stupid. She's really
Listen, you on a
upset.
spiral now, Fro?
Yeah, she is.
This was a joke.
I'm joking.
I hate when you told me to move back home.
Why? You should move back home if you're struggling. Why doesn't Hassan pay her? Isn't she a mod for Hassan? This is my thing. If you're already like melting down at 30, like it's time for you to think about how you're not going to be able to survive the next 30 years doing this as a business. If you're already struggling and you're not going to make it another 30 years e-begging, you might as well go try to get a decent job and try to like make money and have like a pension or a 401k. Start saving for the future. What? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being like real. Here's like a normal day for Frogan when it comes to her content. She goes and she sits down and she watches reality TV shows for 4 hours a day, or maybe plays a video game. A lot of my work's offline. That's what you have to do. Like, you think that it's just like, oh, let me go on for 4 hours and off? No, dude, you got to put effort into this stuff. And this is still like an easy job, but it takes work. But like, she doesn't want to do any work, and she wants to cry. It's hard to feel bad when you're just like intentionally not doing anything for yourself.
And like I said, he does have good points. She is lazy and doesn't attempt to really do anything more than just stream like a lot of streamers do and just sit there and watch videos or TV shows for the most part. She hasn't uploaded since responding to Ethan Klein 8 months ago on her YouTube channel, and she still does her podcast, but it doesn't really do that great. And that's not really dogging on the numbers, it's just that she's not that big of a person online. So it's hard for her to get traction from her Twitch streams onto this podcast of other smaller people. Like, if you were still working and doing this on the side, it would be way different, but you're not. You're trying to do this full-time, but you don't have full-time numbers, especially living in California. And also, what says that people really still will want to watch her stuff if she does go to some more videos and stuff like that? She doesn't have that many subscribers despite being a part of the Hassan orbit, and doesn't really have that much support really anywhere. I just don't think people really are interested in her. And yeah, we'll get more into this in a second. Before we go on, Frogan also admitted to being investigated by the FBI after her comments towards veterans, and here's that clip.
I was brought up at a Q&A with Dan Clancy.
Yeah.
I've been seeing this video go viral. I figured I'd save it to watch it on the podcast.
Sure.
The reason why I know it's about me is because they talked about wishing U.S. soldiers have PTSD. And I was like, I can't think of anybody else that said that on the platform.
Yeah.
That has.
You're a trendsetter. Look at that.
I'm not a trendsetter.
You're setting trends. Well, maybe you're not, actually, because that was a really bad one you said.
Mia Khalifa backed me up.
That's true. Mia Khalifa should be a Twitch streamer.
No, I would never wish that on her. So the caption of this is, got to finally ask Dan Clancy a question. Hold on. You know what? I guess we'll watch it.
Long time. But another thing that I am is I'm a U.S. veteran, served in the Army, deployed to Afghanistan. Veterans are a protected group on Twitch. So I was just wondering, I've heard comments about the United States deserve 9/11, PTSD, veterans deserve that. When are we going to start?
That's all about you. It's all about
I
you.
didn't say America deserved 9/11. That was
No,
Hassan.
that was Hassan. I was talking about the
Yeah.
PTSD you said right after. The American ad said right after.
Other streamers accountable for stuff like that, regardless of social status. Yeah.
Social status? What social status do you have?
Better than him, apparently, according to him.
Okay.
You know, I'll listen to his answer, and then I'll give what I have to say about it.
Sure.
He's asking about being held accountable. I was banned for 30 days and investigated by the FBI.
Yeah. Like,
What more do you want
what
from
more
me?
do you want held accountable?
They want me to like get down on my knees and be shot execution style at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody's been held accountable, and they took away your ads, and you're not able to make any money from ad revenue whatsoever. Even though they brought it back, you're not making any ad revenue.
Advertisers can still check whether or not they want to run ads on my channel or not.
Literally.
So
And and I'm sure Twitch explains that, like, this is that person that did that. You know, before you do this, just know that this person, because like, what are you talking about? Because I still can run ads, and I had a 30-day ban as well. So it's like, what more accountability do you want?
like it's like insane. It's just like I literally was banned for a month.
Yeah.
The government has come after me.
Yeah.
My ads were taken away. I was kicked out of the Women's Guild. I like literally, there's nothing more they could do besides like literally like banning me permanently.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what he says though.
She laughs over this and attempts to be smug and being obviously wrong, and the ban she got wasn't enough, or the FBI investigation wasn't enough, obviously, as well, because she still acts like a terrible person and smug instead of, like, you know, humble or nice. There is no aspects like that towards her. She's always just rude, aggressive, in one way or another. Using words like, quote, come after me, there is no accountability or learning with these people, and it was proven in that clip, and they need permanent punishment and actual fear of doing wrong. That's why people don't commit crimes, is because of the fear of doing wrong and being punished for it. But these people just continuously get away with stuff, and like any criminal, they keep going back. They didn't learn their lesson because they don't have the fear, they don't care. So they just keep getting rewarded, basically, for doing all this wrong stuff. Caleb also went back and forth for a moment with Denims as she criticized Caleb without full context. I guess she just didn't really know about Caleb Hammer at all. And, you know, still started spatting.
Now we'll leave you with nothing. Good luck.
As an idea, why don't we give people the tools so they don't fuck up their life, or they don't fuck up their credit score, or whatever it is.
We do! They all raise their credit score and pay off tens of thousands of dollars a day in just a year. More impact on this world in a positive, real world, per person experience than you will ever do.
Yeah, I'm lucky that I...
You're lucky because you got a big pair of tits, and that's the only reason anyone watches, let's be honest. And we enjoy them.
Not to get higher education.
Caleb has openly admitted that she thinks she's attractive, and it's been such a gooner on Twitter lately, and it's actually hilarious. I've been loving Caleb Hammer's tweets. Like, he got like a hate comment from some girl, or like hate messages on Instagram, and he was like, he showed the screenshot and then just said, still would though. And like, I don't know, I think it's hilarious. And he keeps talking about like, oh, Denim's is really attractive. Denim's like, he's like so obsessed with her in a way, like in a funny way. But yeah, he's just absolutely unhinged on Twitter sometimes, and not in a Hassan or Frogan way, but in a genuine, good and funny way. He invited her to talk in DMs about disagreements that they have, as Denim's like showed a 3-second clip of, you know, Caleb Hammer saying, hey, talk to me in DMs anytime, let's talk. She says, sure, I'm game to call in, my DMs are open. And then Caleb responds saying, nice, heart, red heart emoji. Reached out, I hope we can have a decent, genuine conversation surrounding systemic issues versus personal issues, DM sent. And then someone actually did respond saying, don't get sucked into their stuff, dude. They are trying to kill you. They want you destroyed. This is how I know you aren't right-wing. You would actually know that. Caleb says, I'm willing to have a genuine conversation about our disagreements and where we can find middle ground or even some things we agree on. If they want to make it about online drama, I have no desire to participate. That's not a productive conversation. And I like this. And yeah, Caleb Hammer's always said that he's not really exactly either side. I don't know if he said he like maybe leans a little bit somewhere, but it won't be hard anywhere. I think that's the way to be. It's just to be a middle person. Try to be more genuine, try to have middle ground and good conversations, genuine ones with people. And he actually did make a clip, or he talked about it the next day, saying this.
To call in, my DMs are open, and then I responded to that, nice, heart. That's because I have a crush on her, because she's one of the hottest women ever created in the history of the internet, and oh my goodness. She's stunning. Man. Reached out. I hope we can have a decent, genuine conversation surrounding systemic issues versus personal choices. Personal choices is something we advocate for a lot on Financial Audit. Systemic issues is what she kind of focuses on in her stuff. So I sent her a DM. Not going to share the DMs. I like to keep DMs private, as it should be. Yeah, you know, listen, I've kind of reassessed how I want to go about the live channel. Honestly, the Denim's reaction, I like that. And I think it was totally valid. You come after me, I don't lay down. I go after people. Unless it's not unless it's like not going to actually benefit me in any way, but it was nice to do. It felt good. I want to go after it, and she came after us in what I thought was kind of a bad faith way of not really understanding the show. Maybe on the 30th. But she's been nothing but gracious and actually very nice and still incredibly hot in the DMs back and forth. And you know, I want to respect her for that. And I will get her consent to or not to call her hot when we talk as well. So if I do, it's because I directly asked her and got consent, because those are really nice.
Yeah, she's very pretty. She's very pretty, and
which the audience disagreed with on the VOD we uploaded, by the way.
And guess what? They disagree with a lot of things that are said occasionally. So it's, you know, everyone has different tastes.
I think with Caleb's approach to conversations, trying to just talk in a calm and fair manner, like in a very like an actual conversation, not just an argumentative manner, I think that this like actually gets agreements made and helps you be more positive and nicer to each other. Like, an example is the debate. Like, the word debate, you already know it's just going to be a yelling fest. Hassan and H3 already proved that. Whenever you debate someone, they're screaming over each other, and that's it. So, the Caleb Hammer is doing the right way. But I hope he kind of got some extra stuff in that conversation. Maybe, like, some free pictures, some free of pictures. I don't know. I hope the best for him. I think he has a girlfriend too, which is the funny part. Also, like, I just hope that she's okay with those jokes, or you know, either way. Frogan goes on to later stream and talk about what had been going on in response to certain criticism.
Is, you know, I don't like to fan the flames or like interject or anything, because I like to not. I don't like drama. I hate drama. The only drama I like is drama that doesn't involve me, you know, that I get to watch from the sidelines. And that typically don't deal with like random people. I mean, like random people like reality TV love it. You know what I mean? You didn't interrupt socialism. You're fine. And Shaker, thank you for the biddies. So when shit like this happens for me, I ignore it, and I try to just like let it go on. And because usually with stuff like this, it'll die down, but it has yet to die down, and it's crazy. And I'm like, I just can't just keep sitting here like waiting for it to to go away when I realize that these people like get off on harassing me. So I am going to continue living my life the way I do and continue doing my work. And yeah, I don't talk about what they have to say.
I feel like this is not true. You can also see her sub count went up massively after crying on stream and getting into drama, and it's probably more so because of the drama and not much because of the crying and begging. But Frogan is mainly known to get into dramas and pretty regularly and talk to people on Twitter and respond back and forth. Smug people like her get into dramas and like it too. She will also respond to randoms on Twitter often, and in her situation, especially in this one, I guess, it was understandable. But, like, her to lie and be like, I don't respond to randoms, like, you do, though. But it's fair, too, because you see a claim, it's like the top comment on your tweet, it has a lot of likes, meaning people agree with it and think the same, and then you respond. That is fair. But don't just lie or sit there and say that you don't like it or don't respond to people whenever you most definitely do, and it was just proven. Easily proven. And she acts like she is hated for no reason. Like she hasn't been smug or a bad person in the past who has said and done a lot of bad things and associates with really bad people. And of course, drama and discourse about topics will die down over time, but people aren't going to forget, for the most part, what all she has done. And she didn't even wait a long time or anything either. She tries to act like she waited a super long time for stuff to die down, and she really didn't. Like, she thought this would be over in a day or so. I don't really know her mindset, but she acts like she took a whole week off or something of the sort, whenever it was a couple days, if even.
So next thing, I don't have a list. I don't have a list of that I'm going to talk about. So this is all from the dome. Okay, so one thing going around is people pocket watching me. The big point of contention are my nails. Everyone loves to talk about my nails. Whenever the lawsuit was announced against me, my nail lady, who's also a really good friend of mine, she started doing my nails for free. I paid for like one set since then, but all the other nails she's done for me have been for free. Because one, she's a really good friend of mine, and you know, in exchange for content, and I also like buy her dinner like that and or tip. It's not like I'm exploiting her for labor. So people are like, oh, she has $200 nails, which they never were $200. First of all, whenever I do pay for my nails, they're $120 because I am grandfathered into her old rates, because I've seen people like post her pricing, but like I've been going to her for almost 2 years. But yeah, no, she's a good friend of mine. I've known her for years at this point. So yeah, these she did for free. These are some she did for free. Another thing people are talking about are my lashes. And yeah, they're like, oh, you get lash extensions. No, the f- I don't. I wish I did. But they're a waste of money. I wear cheap strip lashes from Amazon and or Dollar Tree or wherever cute ones I find. Another accusation I get is I keep my face filled. I wish I had a syringe of filler. Trust me. I wish I had a syringe of filler to touch up my lips. It's been 4 years. I'm trying to be like that lady on the front of the Vanity Fair cover. Yeah, I'm trying to be Caroline Levitt. But unfortunately, I'm not. And then the girl was like, yeah, the men may believe you, but I don't. It's like, girl, you get filler first. How are you gonna talk about how I look when you need it? Anyways, and then, side note, the I want to talk about how I look. They clearly don't know the cost of beauty products. That's all I'm gonna say. Even if you did pay for, who cares? I know. No, but if your lips are filled, they'd be as big as Darcy if you could get it. I don't want my lips that big. I just sometimes I wish I had a little touch up of my top lip. You know what I mean? What else? So then, the whole thing about my nails and my beauty whatever are going around, right? Hold on. I get a deal on my lips because she's my friend. Like, do you have a filler friend? That's crazy. That's amazing.
So you talk about struggling financially, then when people call you out about using money on things you don't need, like nails, or as it could be perceived that you spend money on nails, they are suddenly pocket watching. Also, some people are just pointing stuff to help out. They're not exactly pocket watching, they're giving advice. And or criticism. And of course, her response here, like if it's true, like what the stuff she is saying, if it is true, it's a halfway decent response. Although you could still argue she shouldn't be buying these beauty products. She's also, though, a woman who is trying to look presentable, quote presentable, I guess, or look better on stream, and would get dogged on if she didn't have makeup on and such because, yeah, she made, her own standards. And by the way, lip filler is gross, and she's just dogging on other people's looks while also being super insecure herself about her lips. The standards in 2025 are absolutely cooked.
But anyways, so the whole nails thing, like, dude, there's some the one that does like snark on Kayla Naguaria. Why is coming after me? First of all, like, focus on TikTokers. Don't start talking about me. That's besides the point. So then, Caleb Hammer, who I think that's his name, right? Caleb Hammer. I found out about him recently because Cass and I were watching his videos at her house like randomly because like his videos are like crazy. So that's the only reason why I knew about him. So then they started talking about me going on his stupid financial show. And then they said that he'll donate $10,000 to charity. Then Asmund offered to match it for $20,000 total for me to go on his show. And I'm like, do I look like a moron idiot to go on your show? Because to me, I'm not that desperate for attention, and I don't have a degradation fetish from ugly. Like I don't want to deal with this. I'm not stupid. Okay? I'm not dumb. It's a trap. I know. I'm not, like, the thing is, like, people want to believe I'm like some moron. I'm not. So I thought that was gonna die down, but it just kept going and going and going. So I made a statement because I'm like, I don't need a YouTube financial advisor who doesn't even have the accreditation to do this, by the way. He's just a YouTuber that does it. I've seen the type of people he has on his show, and that's not me. You know what I mean?
No one should be able to escape criticism, even if it's like someone that doesn't exactly always talk about this stuff. If anything, that shows how bad of a person you are. She said Caleb's name wrong several times, I think the entire time during this, and I think she's trying so hard to play her "I'm ethnic" card here. Me no English, look, I came from a ethnic family. Look, I can't even say Caleb right.
Dirk Allah. Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa, Bacala.
Also, why dog his work whenever it's been more successful and helpful to the world than it ever has been yours? People want to dog on Caleb, but he has helped more people than they ever will and create a full team of professionals and help long after the interviews. Like, I don't understand why, like, trying to dog on his work whenever he's doing more than these people that are kind of quote activists. Like, I don't understand the point of being a political streamer and just sitting there and talking about the topics and not also wanting change to happen and not doing anything to really change. You just kind of sit there and talk about the same topic. Like, I just don't get it, man. Being a streamer, a political streamer, sounds miserable. The idea of going on there isn't really moronic. You win, in fact, here in multiple ways. You get help and advice you need. You get a huge boost in viewership. Like, your Twitch streams would do well. Your YouTube videos, you could make it like a my response or my reaction to video as well, or whatever it may be. It could be regarded to the financial audit, and that would go good as well. And these would be bigger pushes than Hassan has ever given you. You please both sides here as well, as one is entertained by the fact that you are struggling and gets to see like your financials and stuff, and the other sees you getting help and the reality check that you need desperately. And if anything, it more so humanizes you to the internet as we would learn more about you during this, as the show gives you an opportunity to open up and talk about, I don't know, your family, your personal life and stuff like that, and shows more of the real you. And why go after Caleb's looks whenever you just admitted to hating yourself and being so insecure about your lips that you want to inject plastic fluids into them? And she brings it up several times in this whole section as well. Although he doesn't have college credits, he has people around him that do, and you don't need college credits or anything to look at bad spending behaviors or how to fix them. I don't get why people keep trying to bring up this point whenever it's already invalid whenever you just think for a second.
Regarding the situation that happened with Capri on Friday, what he said was rude. I had a normal reaction to something, like a rude thing. You know what I mean? Thing. I feel like my reaction was normal, and I cried about it because it hurt my feelings. And whenever I'm talking on stream or whatever, I don't assume people are like clipping or watching. You know what I mean? I just assume that I'm talking to my community. And as I mentioned in my post, I don't have clips on because of weirdos. You know what I mean? I have my clips turned off because, you know, they constantly clip farm me. They clip me out of context, which has happened multiple times before. And yeah, so they sat here and screen recorded it and posted it on LSF. Which in my head, I'm like, if you hate somebody so much, why are you putting that much effort in? Like, if I don't like somebody, I move on with my life. You know? Like, if they want to talk about how I spend my time and what I spend my time doing, look at how you're spending your time. And these are grown men. Grown men. So yeah.
I mean, he had a point, though. Begging for subs is sad and a bad entitled behavior. You should move back home and know. To think that there aren't clippers in there that are watching you, where you have clips off, which makes it worse for you. And no, to think that there are no clippers in your streams or whatever, especially whenever you have clips off, like, that's kind of an unrealistic expectation to have, especially if you also don't have VODs on, which I don't know if she does or doesn't. It's a dumb and unrealistic expectation to have. And I don't think she really has been taken out of context a lot. There's not much coverage of her in general, and the few times that she has been covered, it seems pretty full context. And people are going to watch because we want more videos and clips. Like, people are going to watch you and people are going to clip you. You're a controversial person. You're going to say something stupid and we get to make video on it. And she lied again and she's like, oh, if I don't like you, I don't talk about you. That isn't, I leave you alone. That isn't the case at all, as you actively respond to people and retweet tweets talking about them. Like Asmongold, for example. You responded to him, you respond to him in this as well, and you retweeted a random tweet that talked about him from Hassan. These people who are clipping you are probably getting paid more than you do to do your streams and do more for people, such as streamers and such, than you ever will. I guess since you don't want to actually do your original job that actually help people.
And then, so basically, transparently, and I've talked about this on my stream before, I don't make ad revenue. Twitch took it away after I got banned. And obviously, if I'm not getting the subscriber amount I'm used to getting, and I have been getting consistently for years at this point, I'm going to struggle. Excuse me. I'm going to struggle. You know what I mean? I, unlike most streamers on this platform, rely strictly on subscriber revenue, and ad revenue is a big part of my income. You know? So, there has been a trend in, downward trend in spending across platform, and other creators are saying this too. And so many streamers are like coming after me because I said I hate streaming in the clip. Yeah, I'm sorry. None of you will ever have the experience I have streaming. Ever. So if I feel like some sort of disdain or anything regarding streaming, I'm allowed to feel that way. If you experience just a fraction of what I've experienced the last 2 years, you would be feeling the same exact way too. You know? They would be feeling the same exact way. Like, oh, she doesn't appreciate her community, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I do. And I say this so often to you guys here. You know? And then they say like, oh, she's begging for subs on her stream. I'm sorry. And like in the clip, I wasn't begging for subs. I, along with every other streamer who does streaming full time, asks for subscribers every so often because, you know, that's what pays bills. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, if you're doing streaming for the money, then quit. It's like, this is my job, first of all. Second of all, how come this narrative isn't pushed to people that do subathons that are trying to break records, like Kai, like FaZe, like Iron Mouse? Nobody ever says a word about them asking for subs when it comes to them breaking a record. You know, it's double standards. Like, people want to pick apart everything I do, and I'm tired of it. It's like it's ridiculous. A triple standard, a quadruple standard, some may say.
Why did you get banned? Also, this is your own fault. I'm glad Twitch did at least something about her, as they never really do anything about anyone. But also, you have other avenues, like YouTube and your podcast, that you could do. But you just don't do anything. And I get that your streams aren't doing well, and it can make you hate it. I'm in the same boat as you right now. But you have done so much to cause you to fall into not be liked online. Like why you got banned. You don't take accountability for it either, for the terrible thing that you said. And she was begging. You're not just asking for subs and stuff like that. And I get it, yeah, you can ask for subs or be like, hey, don't forget if you like the stream, make sure you're a sub, or if you don't like ads. You know, whatever, streamers do that. But you were begging for a sub. And I think saying that it is your job is valid. I know some people kind of think differently on that. But with how you are struggling right now, it doesn't seem like you should be relying on it. And that's okay. And it's okay to actually work a job. I don't see a reason why she couldn't just cut her hours in half of streaming and live an actual life, work an actual job, and do streaming and your podcast on the side. Especially because, like, with her, she doesn't do a lot anyway. She mainly just sits there and reacts to stuff. I don't see why she could just cut the hours in half and also have more interesting and more action-filled streams while also making more money. And you take the money from your six-figure job and hire an editor to post weekly videos on a Frogan live channel like everyone else does. But there's just no thought process or effort with her at all. And I said weekly uploads because she just sits there and reacts to too much stuff like TV shows and videos to have a lot of original content to be able to clip and make videos out of. And I 100% agree with her that these subathons are weird from Kai Cenat and others, but people have been calling out Kai and the others like that, but it just doesn't go as viral. And I'm glad that there's a middle ground being built here, that we both can agree that, yeah, subathons are kind of weird. And again, you made yourself a target by saying extreme things. And when you talk about money, then also sit there with nails, makeup, and lashes of any kind, I don't care what kind it is valid to criticize.
And then obviously, in terms of revenue streams, I'm trying to diversify my content across different platforms so I can have multiple revenue sources. And as you all know, I do production work for some streamers. I'm gonna make this clear, and it's like so pathetic that people want to bring Hassan into everything. I haven't like sat down and modded for Hassan in forever. My role for Hassan at this point and for like the last few years has been production work. I give him ideas and I produce the streams, and whether it be like, you know, something like Chad Vice or like the interviews I've done for him before or like the basketball event, that is my scope of work I do for Hassan. And Hassan pays me very well. You know, he pays me very, very well. The Dearborn trip. So yeah, it's not like I'm sitting there to like modding in his chat like other people do. I don't do that. I do the production work. So I don't understand why people have to like pin him into this, like it's weird. You know what I mean? It's so weird. Yeah, no, they pin me, like I'm technically modded in his chat, but other people are modded in his chat too. And if I were to mod in his chat, he would pay me for that too, but I don't mod in his chat. You know? People want to make him out to be this like evil person. He's not. Spoiler alert. He starts modding in his chat. It's not that deep. Exactly. Cinna had really good advice for me. What was it?
Talks about her work with Hassan here and says it's pathetic to bring him up, but he's the person who, quote, made you in a way, and, you know, is supposed to pay his mods and stuff like that. And he's also a person that's heavily criticized, and, he's kind of like the caretaker of you all, I guess, in a way, is how people see it. It's cool she opened up about her newer work with Hassan, and supposedly it pays well, but who knows? There's just no trusting it at all, especially with how Hassan has been with the lawsuits and everything. And she could stream modding his chat. I think Jinxie's mod does that. Like, he sits there, he mods the chat, and live streams his own stream. And no, Hassan is definitely a bad person on multiple levels. This has already been proven and talked about time and time again. This shouldn't be a discussion. There should be no defending of Hassan.
Oh, and then so after I responded to Caleb, like I said, I was like, my financial struggles aren't for me, like with because of poor budgeting or frivolous spending, like all the people on a show. I'm not going on a show. I don't align with the I don't want to do it, and I don't really care to. Okay, I don't care if. I'm gonna be completely honest. I donating $20,000 to charity if I go onto the show is like ridiculous and stupid, and it's a way to try to make me look bad if I don't go on a show. Which at this point I don't care. I respect myself enough, and I am smart enough to know that it's a trap, and I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen the last few videos he's posted. He's posted about Denims. He's posted about Casey. He's posted about Hassan. Like, I'm not dumb.
I don't trust her because I feel like there's spending that can be helped and checked. A lot of people on this show have the same mindset as her. And if you don't want to do it, then sure, you can admit to being scared or being embarrassed or not wanting to expose yourself. That is fine. And also the whole money thing about, holding money in front of people, that's already been responded to. Whatever. And he openly said he wants to have a good discussion with you or anyone, especially if the other people. I'm pretty sure that he would even offer Hassan a genuine chat and stuff like that, although I don't know if that one would go as well. But he did it with Denims and proved that he could be this way towards your own people. And she acts oblivious to how people around her are criticized. And that's the weird thing to me too, is that you try to say Hassan isn't a bad person, or he made videos on all the people around me. But what have these people done to get videos made on them? You don't say. And even if you did say, you defend it. And it's weird because there's no accountability took here. And if it went a way you didn't like as well, like the whole financial audit episode with you in it, you could just easily storm off or play victim and possibly get more sympathy afterwards in a YouTube video. There's just other ways you could have played this here. Again, no thought process. No thought processor ever here.
And then Asmongold felt the need to chime in. Talking about my ban. And he was like, the only thing wrongful about your ban is that it wasn't permanent. Frogan once told Ludwig, who was going to donate 10K to Palestinian relief, to keep his money, then called him. Also, let's not forget this classic. And then it's a PTSD soldier clip. And it's like, first of all, you don't care about Palestinians because you said they deserve to be, and you were banned for 2 weeks for that. Right or wrong. So don't try to be a holier than thou, trying to act like you're this really this holy person. Second of all, you're literally. So then I responded, and I said it was take because he didn't want to do charity for Palestine because it would upset some of his audience when an act is happening. I'm not going to respect you if you say you're not going to do charity for a cause because you're worried that it's going to upset some of your viewers. That's not respectable to me. That's not commendable to me. Especially when these people are being, And then I said, and as for the PTSD clip, I said even in the clip that I'm not talking about the people who regret their service or acknowledge their wrongdoings, which I did say in the clip. But guess what? Whenever I got clipped, they clipped that out because that will ruin their entire thing. And then I was like, and then I said, I was talking about the people who gloat about seemingly don't have an issue with because, like I said, he advocated for the Palestinians, And then he's like, and who has? Everyone knows what you were trying to say. The blatant dishonesty is why everyone hates you. And it's like, how am I ever going to live with myself if Asmongold doesn't like me? I don't give. Also, if you want to get technical, hypothetically, if I'm half white, am I allowed to say? Because these people, right? So I'm assuming they have like that one drop rule. You know what I mean? Hypothetically, if I'm half white, am I allowed to? He writes for his audience. The people are so dumb. Their favorite color is 5. That's crazy. I don't need a pass. My mom is white. Also, I said it was a tick. I didn't call anybody a. You know. Also, my mom gave me the pass. I asked her whenever I got heat for it the first time. She said, "Yeah, I could say it." So yeah, and then I'm not arguing with. I don't care to do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, here's why you're a bad person, and everyone knows why you're already a bad person. I don't need to reiterate it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you laughed at like Nick Fuentes saying something. You are a grifter, and you don't know what you're talking about politically. I don't know how he made it this far. Actually, I'll tell you how he made it this far. Because he's so stupid and dumb that he's catering to the dumb on this platform and people that don't understand politics and can't conceptualize anything beyond 3rd grade reading level, and that's his audience. That's exactly why. That's how his audience grew so big, because they're all stupid just like him. Anyway, what else? Anything else to address? Did I miss anything? Any questions, comments, answers? We're not having any. I have filler. I just haven't got filler in 4 years. I have filler. I just have not gotten filler in 4 years. It dissolves, girl. I know. I know. But trust me, like I said, I wish I had a syringe, bro. I wish I had a syringe, bro. I wish. Why you pay $5,000 for my nails, bro? I wish. The thing is, people come after me because they think I'm an easy target, but it's just like, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Pirates, thank you so much for the sub. Calamari, thank you for the sub. Caitlin, thank you for the gifty. Replay K, thank you for the sub. Socialism or barbarism, thank you for the 10 gifted. I appreciate you all so much. Is it a dude talking about my nails? Yes. I'm like, dude, don't act like any of you have girlfriends or you know how much nails cost. You know what I mean? Sorry. Thank you so much for the sub. Spaghetti King, thank you for the gifty. Yeah, and another thing I want to say is, you know, like, unlike most streamers in this industry, I fortunately have a life outside of content and a life outside of the internet. Okay? I don't rely on the internet or any of this to keep me for social interaction. I have relationships outside of this. I'm not locked into the internet. As soon as I log off for the day, I'm not looking at Twitter. I'll look at Instagram Reels or TikTok, but like, I don't really give a about this. You know what I mean? But the funny I was seeing on the timeline is where people are like, yeah, I'm a streamer and I'm full-time. And yeah, what she said about hating streaming is so vile. It's like, girl, look at the people say about me. Go enjoy streaming. You have healthy boundaries. That's why you're normal. I always say that, like, you peak at the age in which you started streaming, right? Mentally. And especially if you didn't have a real job before streaming. And I never once complained about like the difficulty of this work. I never said streaming is so hard. Streaming is so hard. It's not streaming that's hard. It's dealing with you that's hard. You know what I mean? Because the people that say streaming is harder than like a normal job, I'm like, you're dumb. I've never said that. But if you have like thousands and thousands of people you a day, you know, that could get kind of hard. Not gonna lie. Because at the end of the day, I am still a person and I am still a normal functioning human being. You know what I mean?
Asmongold chimes in on you all the time now. It's a part of his stuff, as, you know, Hassan and him go back and forth now a lot. It's just kind of what happens. And also, yeah, you should be banned permanently. I'm very confident in that. You have no idea how badly of a thing you wished on veterans. I think using a point against someone that you don't really agree with, but they do, is a smart move, to be honest. And I don't know if Asmongold has changed his mind on what he said. I remember him saying some stuff, but I don't exactly remember. I think he might have also updated his thoughts and beliefs on that clip. I don't really care, but I'm just saying that, like, oh, I think he might have took some of that back. if you want to try to use that as a point. Going on just to call him a pro Yahtzee player, to, you know, kind of say it in a different way, was absolutely absurd. These people throw around words like this like it's nothing anymore. And this originally was just like a mid response that had some like a good response and points. And then, you know, of course, it also had its bad. And then, you know, your review just got tainted completely because you want to call Asmongold that word for no reason. You also can't say cracker, you racist. You aren't allowed. I didn't give you the pass. To get the pass, to get the cracker pass, you have to come through me. Okay? No one else gives you the cracker pass. No other white person. I don't care if it's your mom. You don't claim to be white either. You just openly try to be ethnic on stream, and you also wear that hijab. I mean, and she doesn't wear the hijab for religious reasons, or else she'd be a way different person. Like, she literally used the Lord's name in vain in this whole like podcast clip. This 25 minutes, she couldn't go one time without saying it. The PTSD clip is still wrong either way, and I'm honestly tired of this. So let's just go on to the end. Thank you all for watching and for the support, especially watching this far. Let me know what you all think about this in the comments down below. I gave my opinions on it already. If you like videos like these, make sure to like and subscribe as I make videos on locales, internet traumas, and more. There are several playlists that I have going into some very interesting souls in those topics that you all can go check out. Happy New Year if this gets out before then, and even if it didn't, just happy late New Year, late Merry Christmas, and Christmas Eve. And I think resolutions and anything of the sort is just kind of corny. Like, I don't think much is going to change. You know, just look forward to events. I don't know. Just live. Quit doing these gay resolutions. Anyway, make sure to also hype the video and follow my Twitter. It's linked in the description below. And in the end, I'm PERK30, and keep God close.